Welcome you to the City of Warman, regular meeting of council. It's Monday, June 27th, 2020. I would ask if there was any announcements to share tonight. Hearing none, we'll move down to approval of the agenda. Councillor Peterson.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the Monday, January 27th, 2020 agenda as presented.
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Schramm. All in favor? Moving down to approval of the minutes, please. Councillor Philipchuk.
I'll make the motion to adopt the minutes from the January 13th, 2020 regular meeting of council and the January 20th, 2020 committee of the whole meeting as read.
Okay, seconder for that. Councillor Beck. Is there any comments? All in favor? And moving down to administration reports.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have two items for Council's review tonight, Regional EMO Coordinator and also the award of a capacity review contract. To start with the Regional Resilience Specialist, in January this year, the Working Committee met to establish terms of reference for the Regional Resilience Specialist, which is attached for Council's review. With the work completed, our next step is to determine if the City wishes to proceed with adopting the terms of reference established to provide EMO coordinator services for the City of Warman through the City of Saskatoon and regional partners at an annual cost of $10,000. Options presented for Council. The Council support the terms of reference and job description for Regional Resilience Specialist. The cost is approximately $10,000 a year. Option 2 would be Council direct administration to proceed with advertising locally for an EMO coordinator position. The cost is undetermined at this time. And option 3, the Council direct administration to hire staff members to perform the function within our own operations. Cost estimate would be approximately $70,000 a year. There is a recommendation by administration that Council adopt the terms of reference and job description for the Regional Resilience Specialist.
Okay, so we have a motion in front of us. Who wants to make that motion? Councillor Peterson.
I'd like to make the motion that council adopt the terms of reference and job description for a regional resilience specialist and advise the SNCA and the City of Saskatoon of our endorsement with an approximate cost of $10,000 per year.
We have a seconder, Councillor Schramm. Is there further discussion? Councillor Philipchuk.
Just a couple comments. First of all, I appreciate the feedback that we got from Saskatoon and the clarification on some of those. Just wanting to make sure that I know our intent was to have a council member and a administrator as part of that. Really wasn't clear, but I think, are they leaving that open, or do we need that as something that's a part of that?
I think what they would like to do in the discussion that I've had is leave it open. And what they've indicated, they've changed the wording to 2 representatives. Before it said senior administrative, and now it's just 2 representatives. So that could be 2 council, 2 admin, to whatever but 2 representatives from the municipality.
Okay, each municipality.
Councillor Beck.
So building on that question and on that kind of thing, certainly this year I'm willing to agree to the terms of reference, but I would like to have it amended where it does actually stipulate at least 1 elected official in there. And there again, like the reason for that is I don't want other communities to miss let's say like the municipal responsibility of what the let's say the EMO duties are. And there again, so for me, it is something that actually should be specifically identified in there. So, I mean, while other communities might miss that or whatnot, I mean, like I think in terms of like the terms of reference that, that we approve, I think it actually should stay in, state in there, 1 elected, I would say, like one of those being elected representative. So I'd like to actually make that a amendment to the motion. And if I have council support, obviously we can certainly approve that. If we fail that, then that's fine. But I definitely would like to make that amendment.
Okay, so point of order, because he's wanting to amend. Do we start with that, or do we continue our conversation?
So
First.
Go do
You
that
need a
first.
seconder.
This one first. Okay, so do we have a seconder for Councillor Beck's? Anyone going to second that? Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, Councillor Schramm?
Mute point, since there's no seconder.
Oh, so you don't have any?
I would have commented on that particular, I feel like it's one thing for us to suggest, it's another thing for us to try to get everybody else to hold responsibility. I don't think that's in our preview as a council to have hold other councils, to make other people hold responsibility. I think we can suggest it, but to mandate it is, I think, a little bit further than what our mandate as our own council is concerned. I think if we feel it's important to have someone on there, we should put one. If not, then case in point. But
Okay, any other comments?
And I was just going to follow up with that too, that we can even have within our own guidelines that we do something like that, whether we're appointment or whatever, however we do that, so it can be something that under Warman, and then we can give a directive in that way, that what we've done, but we have such a discrepancy from villages all the way up to, Saskatoon. So is that practical that everyone will have that as their two representatives? So.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so, motion's on the floor, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, next item.
That was carried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The award capacity review RFP, the city advertised the RFP for 2 consecutive weeks and received 5 proposals. 3 were priced in the similar price range. AECOM was $80,000, Collier's $59,845, and Firebird $44,800. 2 firms were considered higher, and therefore they were not reviewed because they were over the $100,000 mark. A table was created for council's review. The 2 lowest prices, Collier's and Firebird, were very close in terms of points, and both had a good grasp of what the city was looking for in terms of the final product. The top 3 proponents scored as follows: Collier's 81.6, Firebird 81, AECOM 72.35, all out of a possible 100. After reviewing the 2 top proposals, administration feels that either company would be competent to complete the work. Collier's edged out Firebird in points by just 0.6, based mainly on the project team, methodology, and comprehension, although Firebird scored the highest based on price. So based purely on points scored upon review of the proposal, we are recommending that the proposal be awarded to Collier's. So the recommendation is that the RFP for consulting services to perform a capacity review and develop a facilities portfolio plan for the City of Warman civic facilities be awarded to Collier's Project Leaders. We're looking for council's advice.
Okay, motion on the floor. Who's going to make that motion? Councillor Tully, seconder.
It's here.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
So I'll make the motion that the RFP for consulting service to perform a capacity review and develop a facility portfolio plan for the City of Warman civic facilities be awarded to Collier's Project Leaders at their fixed fee price of $59,845, not including applicable taxes.
Okay, do we go to seconder? Okay, that. Guess.
We've lost for
Lost.
one of the sections. Yep.
Councillor Dolchuk?
Can I make the motion that the RFP for consulting services perform capacity review and development facility portfolio plan for the City of Warman civic facilities be awarded to Firebird Project Leaders at their fixed price of $44,800, including applicable taxes.
Seconder, Councillor Beck. Any further discussion? Yes?
Certainly this year, both of these RFPs, we did actually look, certainly at quite intently at our all committee meeting. And, certainly this year, one of the things that certainly came to light with the detailed email that came out between both projects is Firebird with this year, like they basically did include a portion of their of the work that they were doing, where they were actually going to deal with some of our land developer, and that kind of thing, like that's actually included in the program. And I think that actually brings quite a bit of benefit to the table that we didn't actually discuss there at the time. So I just want to say that there really kind of shifted, let's say some of the thought that I had, around that, because like there again, while they scored very high on the points aspect, and with this year, like there was a few things of methodology. I think that was one point that I think probably could have been brought forward a little bit stronger. So looking at that, like those are just small intangibles that you can't really measure, and with it being so like that local company dealing with our local developer, and that whatever, that's certainly something that that I give a lot of consideration to since we did discuss it. So I just wanted to bring that point forward for everybody around.
Any other comments? Councillor Philchuk?
I just want to mention too, like a couple things going through the detailed documents too, and I really read from the recommendation. It was either or in a lot of ways, and going through the Colliers one, there's one part there where there's an additional almost $5,000 for the 4 meetings. So there's some additions there, and it seemed like that was going to be a little bit more of a distant. It didn't have that local flavor. It seemed a little bit more, that way, where the local flavor and a little bit more benefit to us, knowing that we can have input all the way through and not really stuck to the meetings. As I was going through them, I had, for the difference of price and seeing how the other one had potential to increase in price, I was on side with Firebird.
Okay, anything else? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Amanda?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item I have for your review tonight is an investment policy. The purpose of this policy is to ensure integrity in the investment management process, as well as focus on 4 main objectives, including legality of investments, preservation of capital, maintaining liquidity, and earning a competitive rate of return. This policy also defines a standard of care that investments shall be made with prudence, careful judgment, and care, following the prudent person principle of investment management while considering probable safety of the principle. Administration's recommendation is that this investment policy be approved at this regular meeting of Council.
Okay, who can make the motion? Councillor Beck?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to approve the investment policy P42-2020. The purpose of this policy is to ensure the integrity of the investment management process when investing public monies.
Seconder, please. Councillor Peterson, any questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Okay, next item.
The next item I have is an amendment to the utility policy. The main revision is within the enforcement of payment section, where you will see administration's intention to begin enforcement of payment bi-monthly as opposed to the current quarterly enforcement process. One of the other changes you'll see within this proposal is within the non-payment procedure, where it states that prior to granting an extension to renters, property owners may be notified by the city, and in the event of unpaid arrears from renters, the city may require the account holder to be in the name of the property owner. Administration's recommendation is that the revisions to this utility policy be approved at this regular meeting of Council.
Motion, please. Councillor Philchuk?
I'll make the motion that to approve the revisions of the utility policy P17-2013. The revisions have been made to the enforcement of payment section and the non-payment procedure in sections 8.6 and 8.7.
Seconder, please. Councillor Beck, further discussion? All in favor? Oops, sorry.
Yeah, certainly this year, certainly, with this policy, I would certainly like to, commend, let's say like our administration in terms of making up, so like those changes, just to make sure that our wording is consistent with other policies and also, recognized to the public that way. So, yeah, like there again, like those are all small things to, to note as you're going through, and I'm really happy with how things are planned out there. So,
Good.
thank you.
Councillor Peterson?
I think I've been consistent for my entire time on council, and that I just am not okay and on side with going after the owners when they have renters in there. I think that's I think there's got to be some way to have better ways to enforce on those that have the accounts than there is to go after the owners. So I won't ever vote in favor of a policy that's going after the person who's not the account holder.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item?
The next item I have is a 2019 tax enforcement. The properties listed in this appendices have arrears balances in excess of 1/2 of the 2019 levy. Administration is recommending that the tax arrears listing be approved at this regular meeting of council, allowing the city treasurer to place liens on the properties with greater than 1/2 of the 2019 levy in arrears.
Okay, so we have a motion, please. Councillor Beck?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the tax arrears listing noted as Appendix C be approved, allowing the city treasurer to place liens on those properties with greater than 1/2 of the 2019 levies in arrears.
Seconder? Councillor Peterson? Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, next item?
The next item I have is the Educational Support Program, an amendment to this policy. This amendment includes a rating system to assist in determining the level of assistance the city will provide for educational courses based on how directly the program relates to the employee's position.
Councillor Schramm?
I move that the amendments to the Educational Support Program HR policy be approved. The amendments to this policy include a rating system to assist in determining the level of assistance the city will provide for educational courses. I so move.
Seconder? Councillor Tully? Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
The last item I have is a 2020 Council Indemnity Policy Amendment, and this amendment reflects an increase of 2% per indemnity amount as approved by Council in 2019. And the recommendation there is that Council approve this amended Council Indemnity Policy at this regular meeting of Council.
Okay, motion, please. Councillor Philipchuk?
I'll make the motion to approve the amended Council Indemnity Policy P12-2013. These amendments reflect the mayor and council indemnity increases of 2%.
Seconder? Councillor Peterson? Any comments? All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, City Clerk.
So my report today is regarding the city photographer. December 31st, the contract actually ran out with our past city photographer. I consulted with Parks and Recreation to ensure that they were finding value out of having a photographer with the city, and they found it very valuable and loved working with Chantel. So early December, I reached out to Chantel to see if she would be interested in renewing her contract, and she had some personal stuff happening in her life and declined, but was very happy with the opportunity that we're giving her again. On December 9th, Council advised the City Clerk's office to proceed with the RFP. There is a document in here that has the list of all the different proposals we have and the council can view. Our recommendation after a meeting with Heather Chatfield from Park and Recs, Aaron Legg and myself, we reviewed the 4 proposals, and we agreed that Rocky Charles Photography would be our recommendation coming forward for the next city photographer. His time would be until the end of December 2021, so it would be a 2-year contract with Rocky.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. Councillor Beck?
Yes, I would like to award the City of Warman photographer contract to Rocky Charles Photography for January 31st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021 as a contracted term.
Okay, seconder for that. Councillor Schramm, is there any further discussion? Councillor Beck?
Yeah, certainly this year, unlike when this policy was first created, Rocky Charles certainly did win that particular contract then. We had really good service from there. I will certainly agree with comments that had come forward from our city clerk in terms of having really good service also through Zerv Photography. So I'd like to definitely pass along thanks to her for all of the events that she attended and the work there that has been done. And there again, I certainly look forward to having Rocky Charles back here, working on behalf of the city of Warman.
Okay, any other comments? You all in favor? Thank you. A motion to file administration reports. Councillor Peterson?
I'd like to make the motion to file the administration reports for January 27th, 2020 as presented to council.
Seconder, please. Councillor Tully? All in favor? Okay, moving down to Mayor's report. It's all for your information. I have one resolution in there, and would someone like to make that motion? Councillor Peterson?
I'd like to make the motion for Deputy Mayor Gary Philipchuk to attend the SAS Builders Housing Excellence Awards on Saturday, February 8th, 2020 at TCU Place in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Seconder for that? Councillor Beck? All in favor? And I don't think is there any questions of that report?
I was going to make a motion about the luncheon that was mentioned there for councillors that want to go, so I'd like to make a motion.
For Prairie Rivers Reconciliation Committee, oh no, that's not the right one. For,
It is under the
Luncheon with the artists and residents.
oh yes, there it is, February 12th. Okay,
So I'd like to make the motion that council can attend the artists in residence with Ray Keeley and Sarah Gerard luncheon on February 12th.
seconder? Councillor Peterson? Any further discussion there? All in favor? Okay. Motion to file my report. Councillor Beck?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the mayor's reports be filed as presented.
Okay, seconder? Councillor Schramm, all in favor? And Councillor on table, starting with Councillor Beck.
Yes, so I have a small report to present tonight. Touching on the rush game, that the City of Warman was involved in. It was certainly great to Warman to be highlighted through that rush home game, and certainly this year we had say some critiques that we had talked about at our own committee meeting. And obviously, like, those responses are being sent forward for any future programs. That being said, I would certainly like to recognize the buses being donated. It was certainly great to have both buses let's say available for safe transportation and that kind of thing. It was definitely a chilly ride, but this year I think it was definitely beneficial for everybody, to travel together. So I'd certainly like to thank OK Tire and also for our drivers, that certainly got us there and back. Beyond that, my last little while has just been about the SUMA AGM and the prep work around that. So this year I lead two of the group sessions and also the environment minister on Wednesday morning, and also take a lead role in the resolutions. So we'll certainly be looking forward to how that all translates out. And I think after tonight's meeting, I think we're going to talk a little bit about the similar resolutions. So I have those printed off, and certainly have some very strong comments on those. So I'll share those with you guys later.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing. On the resilience specialist, certainly this year, while I wasn't fully in favor of the terms of reference based on a few technical things there, I do certainly want to recognize the work and what's like the lead that that Warman did in terms of let's say establishing that that whole regional concept for the EMO. And just to tie this into SUMA, when I was doing my regional tour this year, there were 3 communities that are a part of this that did actually raise that. So honestly, this year I'm very happy that that Warman's certainly taking that lead role in there, and and whatnot. And I'd like to recognize Bob's work in terms of bringing that all together. It's not easy trying to bring all those those communities on board, also figuring out the finances with it and whatnot. So there again, while I might have had a few technical things on there, I am very appreciative of the overall concept, and certainly looking forward to what that's going to do, and like the like the review mechanism that's in there. So those when you talk about that regional cooperation, we see some of the challenges that and the length of time that it takes, just looking at the P4G and things like that, and to get all those parties on board and to have that one document that certainly represents everybody, certainly a challenge. So good job on administration for that. So I wanted to share that.
Councillor Tooley?
Not a lot to report, just looking forward to attending SUMA, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of the, I'm going to be taking the Human Resources module with the MLVP course on Saturday. So looking forward to that.
Councillor Peterson.
I had commented about the Rush game before, and I just wanted to say, and I said that I contacted someone that I know that kind of loosely does some stuff with them, and he had mentioned it and said that that's something that they were taking into consideration for any future events that they plan, include whether it's cities or anything else, that when they do recognition that they were gonna definitely take that into consideration. So they definitely listened.
Well, we've already sent an email about it, so.
Yeah.
Councillor Schramm?
All I have is volunteer award is coming up, and we need your help. I'm sorry if I took you.
No.
We need your help. For the other members of council, if you could please put in some, or think of some volunteers in which to submit maybe in your organizations. We're now putting out, it's our last week, and for submissions for volunteer awards, and so we're just asking if you have any that you would like to recognize, that you could put those in. Just to follow up, it's just, now it's coming together, and we are just needing more of those. And so we met as a volunteer awards committee. Our city clerk has been doing a lot of great work behind the scenes, getting the caterer and the entertainment, and so we look forward to having a really good volunteer awards in April, and I think it'll be one of many to come that will really support our volunteers in our city. Other than that, I'm looking forward to SUMA, and I would ask that we would also maybe in our meeting afterwards talk about what ministers we're going to see in those before the bear pit, and maybe talk about appropriate other things that we can work towards. Thanks.
Councillor Pilchuck?
You actually didn't steal my thunder on that one. City Clerk Johnson sent out an email about that too, but it's good, and I think we'll take the if off, and we're expecting, since we have a wide diversity of people around the table, we want you to send in a few people along the way. So just adding a bit to yours, and good job on that. Just the Rush game, I want to mention that the collateral benefits have been outstanding. Like the picture that we had in the Gazette was outstanding. Like our lined right up at the Rush game, all of our members we wanted recognized. That was great. And then the Facebook benefits that we got out of that, and Twitter that we got out of that. So I agree, the experience could have been better at the Rush game, but it's those things that happen a lot of times. It's like getting that photo with your family a lot of times. It doesn't tell the whole story of how they got that photo, and so that sometimes it's sort of the same analogy, is that we got some really good coverage out of this and some benefits that go much further than just that game and that time before the game. Because even that time before the game, I was expecting to be a little bit more tied right at the game time of our community builders, I meant to say, the exposure of the community builders. Had a reconciliation meeting on Tuesday. It was really talking about protocol dealing with the pipe ceremony that is on February 6th. So if people are going, you should be letting, I think it was Mayor Spence know, she's one of the tri-chairs with that. If you can make it, it's probably right from 9 a.m. to probably noon by the time it's done at One Arrow Reserve. P4G, that was important what Mayor Spence had in her sharing with her report, is talking how we've changed directions completely here. So instead of really Neil, our director, playing the role as facilitator and overseer of it, he is now doing the work. So instead of overseeing, he's doing it. It's trying to meet the timelines, and it really is, I think, probably the best way to the end to try and meet our end of May guidelines. So that is a huge shift, and if Brad was here, he would probably give even more details on that. And we had the vote, and we're moving forward in that direction. So the planners will be working with him. He'll be putting it together and seeking out and coming back to the elected officials on the way. So I just want to emphasize that point, because it really is a change in how we're doing things, but a lot of it is to meet timelines, and we think it's the best way to get there.
Okay, thank you. Moving down to correspondence, we have in front of us the RCMP media release. Do we have a motion to authorize our correspondence? Councillor Schramm?
I move to authorize the filing of the following correspondence that was received by council on Monday, January 27th, 2020. The RCMP media release for January 13th to 20th, 2020.
Do the seconder for that? Councillor Philipchuk, any questions? Okay, all in favor? And motion for our accounts. Councillor Beck?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion to approve the city accounts as presented by checks numbered 22-031 through 22-129, with a total amount of $641,282.37, and the payroll vouchers numbered 10-166 through 10-232 in the amount of $92,863.28 for January 27th, 2020.
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Philipchuk, any questions? All in favor? Motion to adjourn. Councillor Tully, seconder. Councillor Philipchuk, all in favor? Okay, stand adjourned.